Welcome back. Happy Monday. It is Monday, June the 13th. I wanted to talk about something a little personal to me today, and it has to do with Italians. I'm Italian, and I'm guilty of this. So there's a lot of myths and urban legends about things that Italians do, and I'm actually doing it right now. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's we gesticulate. We communicate with our hands, and I don't know why we do it. I don't know if that is just an Italian cultural thing, if it's how we were raised, but it seems like when you talk to an Italian, it's the 20% of the things they do when they're communicating are with words. So it's 20% words and 80% hand gestures. So, I don't know why we do it. And in fact, in my family, one of the longest running jokes is if you want to shut an Italian up, tie their hands up because then they can't talk, or make them sit on their hands and then they can't communicate. Like literally, do you know of any Italian singers who also play guitar? None, right? They are all guitar players, like John Frusciante, Joe Satriani. They're all guitar players because it's physically impossible for them to sing into a microphone and play guitar and not make hand gestures. So that's why a lot of these guys, like John Frusciante, was the guitar player for Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Joe Satriani is a famous, just his music is all just guitar music. Very rarely does he have any songs that have words in it. So it's all instrumental. But can you name one, Italian singer who also plays guitar? You know what I mean by that? Like, like Eric Clapton sings and plays guitar. There's a lot of people like that, but he's not Italian, right? So they can do both things. But for us, I play guitar. So it's physically impossible for me to sing, play guitar, because I would be doing, when you're singing, we would be just gesturing all the time. So yes, this is a thing that all Italians do. I literally have never met an Italian who doesn't use their hand gestures for something. And a lot of it has meaning. For a lot of the things that we do, there's a meaning behind it. So if we're just communicating or telling a story, you'll get a lot of this, but if you're getting into an argument, then this thing happens. You start making this, and you're like, "Vaci dos." You start, making gestures like this. Or we're not giving the finger or anything like that. We're not flipping people off. This kind of means that too. I mean, it has a lot of meanings, but that's also kind of, that's was used in my household a lot as a kid. My Aunt Mary Carfagno would do it, like, "Oh, Gianni Michael, will you do this one more time?" So yes, Italians do gesticulate a lot. We use our hands to communicate. It's almost our own, version of sign language. In fact, I think a long time ago, I saw a book that had like this gesture on the front of it. And then the title was How to Speak Italian. It was just all hand gestures. So that's kind of true, right? So, but a lot of people do this. It's not just Italians. A lot of people do it. But what Italians, we do it with more flair, right? Even right there. See that flair where I'm adding emphasis to my statement. So, and it's just getting involvement. So yes, that is one of the things that all Italians, seem to do is use our hands to communicate. Another thing I wanted to talk about and really kind of clear up, this has to do with recently Governor Cuomo in New York had gotten into some trouble for fondling women, grabbing them, hugging them, kissing them, and Chris Cuomo, I guess, had some allegations about some, maybe touchy-feely kind of stuff. It's what I call slap and tickle. If people are off, playing around or, doing something like that, I call that slap and tickle. Because that's the thing where they used to like back in the day when you'd always hear about a boss chasing secretaries around the desk, they were tickling them or trying to fondle them. But this is something that no, all Italians don't do this. We're not all just gropey and grabby and feely. Are we affectionate? Yes, most Italians are affectionate. A lot of French people are affectionate, and you think of them being very cold people, but whenever you meet a French person, it used to be, they'd kiss you on each side of your mouth. They do the right? And Italians kind of do that too. So, like in my household growing up as a kid, like whenever we go visit my Aunt Mary Carfagno or my Aunt Mary Pulcini, or any of these women, they'd grab my cheeks. Oh, Gianni Mecca, look at you. We got to fatten you up because I was a skinny little kid. I'm still skinny, um, but very affectionate. They'd always want to squish your face. They grab your face and squish your face and tell you how much they love you. So yeah, there was a lot of affection. We got a lot of love in my household. There was no shortage of that, and it was healthy, So even the men, would hug you and kiss you. My Uncle Charlie, my Aunt Mary's husband, Uncle Charlie would grab you and give you a big hug and a kiss on the cheek or a kiss on the mouth. Didn't mean anything. It was just how we were. So, so yes, we are affectionate, but not to the point of where it's going to cause legal controversy. We don't just walk up to random strangers, and be like, "Hey, pretty lady, come here." Yeah, we don't do that. Maybe in the Jersey Shore, but those aren't real true Italians to me. A lot of those people are what I call Franco-American, or they're the Olive Garden Italian. So, but yes, culturally, Italians have a little tendency to be more affectionate. They're kinder. They're more peaceful. They're more loving. When Mussolini came back and said, "Hey, we're all fascists," we were like, "Whatever," like we didn't care. Everybody was just driving around on their Vespas, hanging on their side saddle, smoking cigarettes, going "Ciao." Yeah, that's no, it's not like Roman Holiday. Kids, if you haven't seen that, it's a great movie. But so there are some myths and some urban legends, and some are true, but a lot of them are not true. So yes, are we affectionate? Because this is one of these things that like Joe Rogan and these guys were talking about it, back when this maybe like 5-6 months ago, when the whole controversy was going on with Cuomo, and it might have been longer. It just seems like it was more recent. And Joe, being Italian, and to me, he's more of this Olive Garden Italian. Was saying that, oh yeah, we all kind of this way, and that's just what Italians do. And no, it's not. That is not what we do. We don't just go around serially groping people. I mean, you can get arrested for this kind of stuff. So, if it's somebody we know, are we more likely to hug a friend versus give them a handshake? Yes. That's traditional. If I meet any of my friends and their wives, and I hug my buddy and like hug his wife, so I kiss her on the cheek, all depending on how well I know them. If this is a lifelong friend, yes. I'm also probably going to kiss my buddy on the cheek. If it is a lifelong friend, this is just how I am. This is how a lot of us are. And not everyone. Are there some cold Italians out there, that weren't raised in that kind of household? Yeah, those are out there, few and far between. But that's of any culture, where you're going to have somebody who, their father never, said that he loved them, or, never hugged them or showed any kind of affection. And so those people become cold people also, right? Like bullies were bullied by somebody in their family, and that's typically why they are also bullies. So that's just a couple of things that, yes, Italians, we are affectionate, but we don't just like randomly walk up and smell people's hair. I know that's a big Joe Biden thing, but he's not Italian. You see what I'm saying? So it's like these things aren't cultural. Any kind of weird people or that are doing these things are just weird people. So it has nothing to do with the way their ethnicity or their culture or anything. They're just weird. So don't lump us in with that whole thing. I know there was a joke when I was a kid. One of my girlfriends used to say that I had Roman hands and Russian fingers, but that was my girlfriend, and that was kind of a joke. So we kind of played up this whole, what Italians do. So yes, we do talk with our hands and we are affectionate, but within the limits of the law and, what is, socially acceptable, amongst our friends and family members. So like I said, we don't just randomly walk up the street and grab somebody's butt. So, and the women don't do that either, right? Because if it was an Italian thing, the women would do it too. And they don't do that. I mean, they'll grab your face. Like, that's about as inappropriate as it gets, right? Because that's what all the Italian women want, to pinch your cheeks on your face, not these cheeks, these cheeks. And it's a sign of affection, sometimes there's nicknames, sweetie pie or cutie or honey or anything like that. That happens down here in the South. I live in Nashville. Everybody calls everybody honey or sugar. Hey, sugar, you want some sweet tea? Would you like some pie? Honey, right? So so these kind of things are everywhere. It's not a specific culture. But these are two things I did want to clear up, for people, because I have a lot of my friends ask me sometimes, like, do all Italians do this, John? I'm like, yeah, we all do, and it's subconscious. We're not thinking of doing it. Sometimes I try not to do it. I'll make clear that when I'm looking into the camera, like, I try to make sure I have my hands somewhere, and I pretend they're like tied down. And, like a few seconds later, like now, it just starts taking over. I can't control it. It's like it's possessed. So anyway, just wanted to clear up a few things of what do Italians do and versus another thing that they don't do. So yeah, we talk with our hands, and yes, we're affectionate, but we're not crazy, sickos. So anyway, if you're Italian, you have an Italian family member that's like this, leave a comment down below. If you're not Italian and you kind of do these things, did you have somebody in your family that was Italian, or your family knew somebody was Italian that we were very close to? We all have these aunts and uncles that aren't our aunts and uncles. They're not really related, but they're like a family friend. So you call them aunt whatever or uncle whatever, and maybe they were Italian. And so like you picked up these things from them, or is it whatever? You're Irish, you're Scottish, you're British, you're French, and you just happen to gesticulate a lot with your hands too. So maybe clear that up, leave a comment down below and let me know if this is a thing for you. And if you're Italian, like, how affectionate are you? Are you like one of these cold Italians? Like I said, a lot of people are this way. One of my best friends growing up as a kid, his dad never showed him any love. The only affection he got was when he was come over to my house, for dinner or something like that. And my mom would give him a hug and, and tell him that, how proud she was of how he was doing in school. And, that, because he was my best friend. Right. So he was like an adopted kid. My mom, we always had all these adopted kids, in our house. And then in respect, a lot of the kids that I hung out with, their parents kind of adopted us in the neighborhood that I grew up here in Nashville. So like we literally had a whole neighborhood, raising us. So, and so do you have a lot of these things that cross over? So it's not specifically just Italian. Leave me a comment. Let me know. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you next time.